Hey y'all, guess what time it is? It's the Grawlix Saves the World time.
All right, the Grawlix Saves the World.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. Well, the Grawlix Saves the World. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. Well, the Grawlix Saves the World. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake. Well, the Grawlix Saves the World.
Welcome to the Grawlix Saves the World.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Nice to have you here, everyone. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
I'm Andrew Orvidal.
I'm Ben Roy.
And I am Adam Caton Holland.
Strap in. This is a podcast where we better ourselves and maybe the world around us through challenges that we give each other.
Yeah, what a beautiful day. We got the door open. The dogs are out running in the yard. It's a nice day here. And how was your week? What have you been up to?
I've had a good week. I went to L.A. and did my one-man show, and I took Katie and Malcolm, and we showed him the ocean for the first time, and it was nice and great. And then I just got back from New York last night, where I did the one-man show in New York.
Did you let him shit in the Pacific?
Yeah.
That's good luck.
How could you not? How could you not? No, we took him to Neptune's Nest. Got him some fried.
Sweet.
And then I went to New York and did the show. It went really well. Both times went really well. The show's going good. Things seem to be happening. I'm excited for it. But that's a heavy show, and it weighs on me. And so I think what I did in both legs of this was that I watched the Fast and the Furious movies on the flights.
All of them?
To and fro. No, well, listen.
No, he asked me. He
I
asked me where
Andrew
to
for his
start.
expertise.
And as a connoisseur,
I like on airplanes to watch dumb shit. I like to watch action movies, turn my brain off. My wife doesn't like them, so that's when I watch them.
For our listeners who are not aware, Andrew is sort of a shit movie sommelier. He
passed the test. He took a somm.
Yeah, and he knows how to perfectly pair a terrible evening with a terrible movie. Now, he loves...
Andrew and I both have a guilty pleasure for action movies. Andrew watches fucking everything, but I've
recommended movies to Ben. He's never watched them. Even movies I know he'd love.
Well, I've often texted him and I said, I need an action movie to watch on an airplane. And he's like, sends me whatever, and I watch it, and it was great. Watch John Wick. All right, boom, done.
Ugh.
And so...
I didn't tell him to watch John Wick.
You did tell me to watch John Wick.
I'm not a fan of John Wick.
You liked John Wick 1, and you told me to fucking watch it on an airplane.
I don't think I did.
Oh.
I'm not that big of a fan.
Oh, right. It was my other better Andrew friend from camp. You don't know him. So anyway, I realized I've not watched any of the Fast and the Furious ever. Never seen one. And I was like, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. So I text my boy Orvidal. I say, I'm going to get into Fast Furious. He says, don't even waste your time. Go to Fast 5 right away. And I watched Fast 5 on the way to New York, and I fucking...
Whoa, so you like Super Mario Brother 3 warp whistled.
Yeah, I found the warp to Fast 5. Spoiler alert,
the
it's a car
of The
race.
Rock is a serious upgrade.
Absolutely. And he came in, and I was blown away. I was like, wait a minute, he's not on their team initially?
And
He's
when he
like
comes in, he's like
them?
walking like Dick first around. It's fucking hilarious.
It's the Rock strut through the favelas of Rio. And then there's a car chase. It's just fucking insane.
There's an incredibly implausible scene where The Rock and Pillsbury dough bouncer Vin Diesel square off and have a toe-to-toe fight.
And Vin Diesel like wins.
Yeah,
and
that
can
you're
kill
supposed
him,
to
and he's
believe
like,
that
I'm
The
not gonna
Rock-
kill you because I'm not a bad dude. It's pretty cool.
I guarantee you Vin Diesel did not say that line that fast.
No, it was very
I'm
slow.
not going to kill you because I'll have to wait.
Vin Diesel...
Get out of that car.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. I loved
They're
it.
the dumbest.
I fucking loved it.
I've never seen one, and they're the dumbest fucking movies. I can tell
I'm
you.
not saying they're not dumb. They're so dumb, but it scratches the itch of what an action movie should be. There's some badass lines. It's the stunts are insane.
Give me a line. Give me a line.
I can't think of any in the moment.
That memorable,
Yeah.
huh? Good, yeah.
Listen, like low-level explosions were happening in my face from like a foot away for 3 hours straight. And then I enjoyed Fast 5 so much, I just downloaded Hobbs and Shaw and watched it on the flight home, which is like
okay.
the newest one.
So that's an extension off the F&FU.
Yes, as I've
The Fast and
learned.
the Furious universe, the F&FU.
Well, and he's like, you got to watch 6, 7, and 8. And I was like, no, I'm going straight to Hobbs and Shaw, and I'll go back to 6, 7, and 8. I want to see the new Ish. And
It's not going to make any sense to him.
he even said,
gonna
he's
be
like,
like-
you're not going to know why they don't like each other. And I was like, I don't give a shit why they don't like each
I
other.
hate your guts.
They don't like
Andrew.
each other.
You have the weirdest taste in movies. I've never seen that. I'd say as a piece of pop culture,
It is a cultural phenomenon.
it is. I mean, I've not seen it, but I think there's got to be. I mean, we all have those, right? Those are they're
Guilty
yeah,
pleasure
what
shit.
people talk about.
or not
shit.
guilty pleasures, but holes in our pop
in your
culture.
pop cultural canon.
Yeah,
You've got a big hole if you haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I've got a big gaping hole.
That can only be filled by The Rock, Eddie fucking Diesel,
Ludicrous,
Jason Statham,
Paul Walker.
Ludacris, fucking
Where is Paul
the
Walker?
one guy who ruined
other
Dre's
people.
$1 billion deal with Apple, Tyrese, and a lot of hot women who you've never seen in anything else.
Oh yeah, is Ronda Rousey in them?
She's in one of them.
Is
She's
she really?
like a villain, I think.
See,
in one of
Ben,
them.
there's your olive
And Gina
branch.
Carano. Gina Carano's in one.
Okay.
I think she's in 5.
Is she?
Okay, I mean,
Listen, there's
I like how
That's
Ben's come
terrible.
around with
No,
let's
there's
see knows
tears
Ronda
of
Rousey's in
enjoyment.
it.
I'm not going in there being like, what a great movie. I'm going in there like, what a dumb, thoughtless, fun
just,
ride.
Yeah, it's spectacle.
what,
It's like
what a
theme-
spectacle. I think
why
how
do I
mad
feel
Ben
like?
is.
Why do I feel like a challenge,
This challenge
is coming?
is let's brick and mortar up those holes in your pop culture history.
no, we street raced through Rio.
Oh, okay. No,
in
I
like
like that
souped
better.
up fucking muscle cars for $1 million through the next 2 intersections
of life.
of life.
Yeah, okay.
It's a metaphor.
Then it is a
Oh, okay.
And Rio is Andrew's Lakewood 1-level cabin.
Well, this is favela-esque.
it is. It is. There was a series of youth that I was afraid to walk by out front to get in.
Okay. All right. So, how are we gonna? What is the challenge then? I guess.
I mean, I don't even know. This is I'm filling in what I've perceived as a pop culture.
so you and I have to watch then
The
Fast and
entire
the entire
series. Yeah,
I'm
we should do
hooked.
that.
This is not
You-
a challenge. This is a reward for good behavior.
Okay, so you and I, but he's already seen them. So what's a movie you haven't seen?
So wait. Ben and I have to watch all 9.
Nine
Is there
Fast
9 of
and
them?
Furious
Yeah,
in a
there's
week.
But you said the first 4 suck.
Well, you have to.
So can we just watch 5 on?
Do you think that there's storyline I'll be missing, Andrew?
There will be parts you don't. You'll be like, what? Like,
Remember
Well,
Ian
well,
McLeese
I'd
and
be
you
like,
used to always
where-
talk
I've
about
watched
straight.
all.
Is Paul Walker?
Stop. It's mean. He's dead. It's mean and he's dead.
Okay.
I don't. There's only so much time. I know you guys have other shit to do.
But I'm going
Um,
to Dallas for 3 days alone. I don't want to see anything in Dallas.
And
I'll
when
just
in
sit
Dallas-
in my room. I
yeah.
think the true spirit of Dallas is
I
the
think that's
FNFU.
how the phrase goes. When in Dallas,
Dallas,
watch
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I say you guys got to watch them.
That's
all.
what Kennedy said.
You got to start at 1,
Kennedy
and then you
said
can
it.
see
Well-
the trend.
in the well, he was about to say it.
That's the biggest tragedy is he didn't get to see the FNFU.
Yeah, you should have to start at 1 because then you can see also how the movies transition from they are about street racing until it's about like the most insane shit you've ever seen.
Sean Patton was telling me that with Tokyo Drift, all the stars wanted more money, and they were like, "Fuck you, we can do this without you."
Yeah,
and
it's
they
totally
did,
different people.
and it's awesome. It's all different, like lower tier stars, and then all the other stars were like, "Okay, we'd
We'll
like
come
to come
back, yeah.
please."
And now they throw a bone and give those people cameos that are in
The
those
lesser tier Tokyo
yeah,
Drifters.
They get to pop in every now and then. It's like, hey, it's the guy from Tokyo Drift.
God, this is as storied as old studio Hollywood. There's so much backstory.
Oh, okay.
So rich.
So
I'm a film major from Wesleyan University. I know a good world of film when I see it, and I think FNFU might be.
okay. So what if-
Someone's burning my degree in the background.
Yeah,
one
they're gonna strip
so
you. You know, you can get an honorary degree.
No,
you
I
can
get-
get a
but what-
dishonorary.
I was
discharge.
defrocked by Wesleyan.
what about Andrew though? I mean, he's already seen Fast and the Furious. So
Yeah.
I've seen all of them.
what's a
Have you seen Godfather, all 3?
I haven't seen all 3. I think I've seen the first 2.
Oh,
That's not.
those
Those
are
are
good.
great.
Those
Yeah,
are great.
3's the rough one.
Have you ever seen Jerry Maguire?
Actually, no, I've never seen that, and I don't
I'd
ever
say
understand.
Godfather, and you go right to Jerry Maguire, as if that
I
those
don't
are the.
see
They're the same movie.
I don't.
The Jerry Bruckheimer said that he fashioned Jerry Maguire after The
There's a
Godfather.
lot of Jerry's coming out of your mouth right now.
I
Jerry
haven't seen it, and
Seinfeld
I've
said
never
that Jerry
understood.
Bruckheimer.
I've always bullshitted whenever people drop a Jerry Maguire joke.
You
like,
had me at hello.
yes, shit like that. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like I know that the reference is from that movie, but
What
I've never
other
seen the
refer-
movie.
I'm just I love that.
Oh, yes.
this is
Show Me the Money.
Wow.
Is it one
okay,
from the
this
movie?
is archetypal. This is an archetypal movie.
Yeah. So what's funny is it is filled with phrases and sayings that have become part
Those
of...
are the only two.
No. You
Show
have
Me the
to
Money.
complete me.
You
Oh yeah,
complete me.
that's one.
Yes. And
There's the big head. The human head weighs like 8 pounds or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
that
yeah.
little kid that says
The
that.
human head with 8 pounds.
Yeah. So we have to watch Fast and Furious.
All 9
Andrew
of
has to
them.
watch all 9 of them.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
You have at least you have a little head
I got
start.
a head start. I got,
Yeah.
but
Ben
Ben-
will truly be suffering.
Yeah, but
Ben
Ben's
doesn't even like the movies.
Ben's family's used to him glued to a screen. This is I have to carve out the time away.
You're going to be in Dallas, so you can't go look at the book suppository.
The book suppository.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called.
Okay, so you have to watch Jerry Maguire, and you have to give us your thoughts on it and
Okay.
your favorite quotes and lines from it.
That's a good Cuba Gooding Jr. is excellent in that
He
film.
is fabulous in
Yeah.
it, and I don't think that he was really good in it. You'll see.
You'll
he
see.
got Me Too'd recently, so don't
He did?
pile on the
Yeah,
praise too
Cuba
much.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that one completely.
Yep. In a bar in New York, getting real handsy and being a real
Oh,
creep.
what a piece of shit. Good
It was
performance
on
in that movie.
surveillance. But,
Okay. All right. Well, that's a fun sidebar for you to have while watching that film.
Yep. So, all right. So here's the challenge.
This is great.
Adam and myself, and including Andrew, you don't have to watch them, but we have to watch all 9 Fast and the Furious movies, and then we have to, as well as Andrew, rank them.
Can I make a prediction?
yeah.
Andrew doesn't finish Jerry Maguire before he starts rewatching all Fast. all 9.
That's probably true because I was
FNFU.
planning on watching 1 or 2 tonight. So
Okay.
Perfect.
And for
I am
those of
so
you
excited.
For those of you that are listening, what holes do you have in your pop cult anus? Anus. I don't know how you
No,
say that.
Ben.
I don't think
No.
that's
I got one word for you, Ben Roy, and it's family.
Is that going to make sense when I watch this?
Talk to you in a week, dude.
eventually.
So send us your what you have as holes in your pop culture world, things you haven't seen, or feel free to also send us your ranking of the best Fast and the Furious.
If you can. It's so hard.
How can it be a 9-way tie?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, as we always do, and as we're going to take a quick break, as many of you know, we have a live show the last Saturday of every month at the world famous
Historic.
Bug Theater. It's historic. It's world famous. So go ahead and check out this clip. And when we be back,
When we be back, you're already talking like the Fast and the Furious.
and when we come back, it will be a week later, and we'll update you on how
We'll
it
be
went.
brain dead.
Yeah, we'll be so much smarter.
Get out of the trenches of tedious tasks like managing order fulfillment and start growing your business with ShipStation. They'll help increase profitability by automating your workflow with their simple, easy-to-use dashboard. With it, you can pretty much do everything you need to quickly and easily. Update order information, print labels, compare rates, optimize shipments, and even set up automatic delivery notifications. And it doesn't matter where you sell. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, ShipStation can integrate pretty much anywhere online. Another great thing about ShipStation? They can help reduce costs with industry-leading discounted rates from some of the biggest mail carriers. You might even be able to get up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. So, make this year your most profitable one yet. Sign up for your free 30-day trial at ShipStation.com and use the code Spotify. That's ShipStation.com with the code Spotify.
Went camping with 2 whites. What? You guys say blacks at home. Don't trip. Acting like you don't say the blacks at your house. So the camping was fun. The drugs were fun, I guess. So I guess no one's surprised when I say that I fuck white guys. I'm not proud of it. Okay. Sorry, black people. I'm so sorry. I'm not proud of it. You know what I mean? It's really hard being a strong, independent black woman, but you love Chad. She's in conflict every day. You know, you're just waking up angry at the whites. Just like, oh, yeah, still hate white people. Oh, not you, Chad. Not you. You are one of the good ones. That's right. You're an ally. That's right, Chad. You never asked to touch my hair. Fucking white dudes is cool, man. I don't only fuck white dudes, okay? I don't want y'all to think I'm just pushing down minorities to get to the pink dick. That's not what I'm doing. But I do feel powerful when I fuck a white guy, because I make him do stuff. Somebody wants it. It's like, lean in. No, it's because white guys try really hard in bed because they're inadequate. And the jig is up, y'all. White dudes are canceled. Y'all gotta work real hard now. It's amazing. I love it. I take advantage of that shit every day. I love it. You know, they're in bed going down on you for hours and hours just trying to prove themselves. And I'm like, I haven't come yet. Sorry. Keep going.
There it is, Vegas's own Shauna Christmas. And it was so fun to have her on the show. She dropped in and did a set while she was in Denver, and it was a real treat. She's a killer.
Thanks for doing the Grawlix.
All right,
It's been a week.
Adam and I were tasked with watching the entire Fast and the Furious
Entire
canon.
saga.
9 films.
Yeah,
Nine.
there's 8 movies, but Hobbs and Shaw counts because it is
It is in the universe.
It's in the
Okay.
family.
Which
I
we
like
were-
to say family.
Yeah, for sure. The FNFU.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious universe.
Fast and the Furious universe.
So they were tasked with 9 movies, and I had to watch
One
movie.
movie.
And, it
And the
felt
challenge
like
was to
watching 9 movies.
Fill in a hole in our pop cultural canon.
Right, and to also, I think to a certain extent, you know, we hadn't seen it because we're being snobs.
Stop being so
See how the
snobbish.
other side
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I am so irritated with you, Andrew, because Adam and I had to watch easily 18 hours of movies.
so much fucking content.
And then you had to watch just Jerry Maguire.
One movie.
And you were texting, being upset about it last night.
You were joking that you were like, I'll read the Wikipedia page, and Ben and I were like, fuck you
Adam
so
texted
hard.
me specifically, you are going to do this
Yeah.
challenge. He's like, you have to do this.
We had a
He's so
group text
mad.
going, and he like was joking that he might not, and I texted him individually and said, these challenges are not good if you do not complete them. Do not fucking disappoint
No,
me.
I agree. I don't like cheating, and there should be
Like Ben on social media.
consequences.
Yeah. Like
What-
on social media, when I cheated,
Yeah.
you can't be like me. That's
And I
hack.
cheated on the
better than Ben.
sleeping challenge.
So anyway, the point is, you watched Jerry Maguire. Let's get to your Jerry Maguire experience.
Let me go
first,
first, yeah.
because
There's probably a lot less to discuss.
yeah. So how'd you like it?
I,
you think?
I hated it so much. I didn't know it was so old. It's from like the mid '90s.
Yep.
Which is instantly apparent with everyone's extra wide suits. Everyone looks like they got run over by a steamroller.
Isn't like-
even their casual shirts are just that wide cut, that like taffy cut shirt.
Also, the fact that what's his name, Jerry Connolly's in the film.
Yeah.
That's how you
And
know
it's-
it's pretty much the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a young
He's Kush.
QB Kush. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
QB Kush, man. Kush
right,
slash.
right,
So bad.
Kush
It was.
slash.
I thought it would at least be like entertaining. In my mind, I was expecting like Forrest Gump. Like this will at least entertain me, and it's long. It's like 2.5 hours
Yeah.
long.
What's wrong with that goofy bastard? Why
Stop
don't you
it.
No,
Forrest
I'm
Gump?
just
No, I'm not saying I don't like love the movie, but if it was on, I'd be like, all right, I can watch this and be entertained. Like,
Yeah.
fine. But Jerry Maguire is not that. It's like so slow and so dumb, and
That's
What's
not how I
so
remember
hard?
it.
I don't remember.
I
it.
remember it being entertaining. The football stuff, it was a great performance by problematic Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, come on. I mean,
no, it's so like overblown.
Didn't he get nominated
and,
for an
yeah, they all
Oscar?
did. Like people were like cleaning up awards in the movie.
The
It's
Oscar people
so
are never
shitty.
wrong.
It's so shitty. But the most troubling part of the movie, this is like one of those things where it's like a time capsule of the time and like what's okay. So if you'll let me just refresh your memory. Jerry Maguire is Renee Zellweger's boss. She left her job to come with him on his pipe dream terrible idea of having one client. but she like foolishly does so. Jerry Maguire is having a temper tantrum and gets very drunk and shows up at her house, where he then clumsily tries to kiss her on the couch, apropos of nothing. He just does it, and then she's like, okay, you better go home. I called you a cab. See you later, boss. And he's like, well, I'll see you tomorrow or whatever. So the next day, he apologizes at their place of work and then immediately asks her out on a date, which she then accepts. So in the span of 24 hours, this boss kisses his employee.
Crashed
drunk.
into her house, at her home.
Yeah,
where he-
without any. She hasn't been like.
Oh, he's also
been insinuating, like, I
super
wish you would
trashed
kiss
around
me.
her young child.
Yeah, and he like, and they have like a secret together. Like he's like, I won't tell your mom if you. And it's like, again, like who's setting up these like secrets with this kid? That kid was so cloyingly awful with his like little round glasses. That kid was in everything in the 90s.
I remember that was like, people were floored by that kid's performance. Everybody thought he was the cutest kid. It's something about the human head weighs 8 pounds.
The
or
human
something.
It's like
head
big,
weighs
yeah, big
8
round,
pounds.
big round glasses.
And mine's 16.
Yeah, and he's only.
yeah.
And the best part is he had like a little lisp. He had a voice for NPR. That little kid, and yeah, it's a movie with
And
a
Ray is a funny name for a little kid.
Yeah.
so they
Where's that kid now?
I don't know. He was in Pepsi
I saw him
commercials.
recently. Did not
In
age
LA?
as well as you think he would have.
Is it's like a Haley Joel Osment?
Yeah,
At
situation?
the deli by your apartment in LA.
No. I just saw the kid from The Sandlot a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The little redhead from the Son-in-Law.
So then the football stuff is also like so tone deaf.
Gets you
by-
fired up for Cardinals football, doesn't it?
by modern standards. So the movie like weirdly has this disconnect where at the beginning of the movie there's this hockey player who's had his 4th concussion and he's in the hospital, and the little his son begs Jerry Maguire like, hey, can you keep him from playing? Look, his brain is like applesauce. And Jerry Maguire's like, no way, kid. He's got to make me money. And the kid like flips him off.
Why is the podcast not just Andrew recapping films?
In voices.
This is
No way,
great.
kid.
No, this is fucking great. I love it.
So
I'm riveted.
The movie knows that concussions exist and that they plague players and that it's a big deal. That it establishes that in like the first 5 minutes of the film.
Right, and clearly
Later
the
in the
NFL was
movie-
involved in this because they let them use
They
actual
licensed the
franchise.
Arizona
Yeah,
Cardinals.
so Cuba Gooding Jr.'s player gets drilled in what is probably the climax of the movie. He seems like he's dead. He's down on the ground.
On Monday night football,
after
bro.
an amazing touchdown catch.
Yep.
His family thinks he's dead.
Yep.
Like everyone is laying there completely unconscious. The doctors are like trying to revive him using the scientific technique of yelling his name and clapping. So then, obviously, he's fine. He opens his eyes, blinks his eyes.
Then he does a cool dance.
Then he gets up. Oh, he does more than just dance. He does like backflips.
Yeah.
He then break dances.
Yeah.
He like does it the most exaggerated celebration.
Even if the guy has just maybe almost been paralyzed, I'm throwing the flag excessive celebration.
and
on that.
everyone
get a
is
flag
like
on it.
cheering and it
Good.
goes nuts. There's no mention. That guy probably has a grade 19 concussion. Nothing.
Is that
There's
even
no-
is that how they grade them?
It checks out.
I feel like that's the one he would have based on how
You're
long
still
he's laying
using
there
the 1 through
unconscious.
20
Yeah.
concussion scale.
It's like a
Andrew?
fresh fruit
No, it's
scale.
19. 19 is the top. Yeah. It's kind of a wonky scale. I think the originator was oft concussed. Anyway, it has this like incredibly like glib attitude toward like he's fine. He's fine. There's no lingering injury. It's not like he's like, and now I'm done with football because I almost just like got my brains turned into scrambled eggs. It's just like he gets rewarded. He gets like this amazing contract. Goes on to continue to get drilled on the regular. It's just this weird like disconnect.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hockey, dangerous sport. It fucks those guys up for life.
Maybe-
NFL tackle football, no way.
Oh,
go
good.
for it. Yeah.
So that's your problem. That's your takeaway from the movie is that it doesn't treat NHL and NFL concussions
That's the biggest
equally
with
the
or
seriousness
fairly.
that they
Okay.
and then I
No, and it was also
Nothing about love.
the love story was terrible. So here's the love story.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, you made me watch it. Now you gotta listen to me.
We should have made you watch this and
unspool
Ken
about
Burns'
it.
Vietnam to compare with the amount of content we fucking
but
watched.
I just want to say
So the
this.
love story. Oh,
Okay,
go ahead.
no,
go ahead. I don't want to.
finish it up. Finish it up, and then I'll attack you.
Okay, let me present myself.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Andrew, present yourself for Ben attacking.
Let me turn dog park rules. Let me turn broadside for the attack. So the love story. So he is her boss. he inappropriately smooches her, which then she's taken by. They go out on a date.
Doesn't he grab her boob too?
Not that in that first thing, I don't think.
I think
I don't
so.
remember.
I think he comes over.
In the drunk house attack?
Yeah, maybe he does because I think he goes, "Sorry about my hand" or something.
Sorry about the hand.
Yeah, I think you're
grabs
right.
her breast.
Yeah. But then, literally 24 hours later, he's like taking off her bra on her front porch under the light, which is one of the most awkward
He
scenes
did not
I've ever
take
seen.
it. See,
He
first
started
of all, you're putting in your own. He did not. She had a spaghetti strap dress on, and he was running his fingers through it, and it snapped, and they both laughed about it.
Yeah, and he
then
had to reconnect it,
romantically ties it back behind.
But he was
her
like,
neck. Don't
Thank
try
you,
to put.
Ben. Thank you for
don't try-
clarifying.
Ben clearly watched this last
Yeah,
night.
well, I
so
was ready. I
you're
knew you were
sick.
going to be on the
You're
attack.
sick.
Ben got a
Cuba
call
Gooding
from
Jr. So
then
Scientology
He
before
won
this
Best
podcast.
Supporting Actor
So-
for this. Okay, the Academy said it was a role of a lifetime for him. Anyway,
Problematic
finish
Cuba Gooding Jr.
So then they get married, or they date for what in the movie time it feels like maybe 2 days. I don't know, like literally, like almost nothing happens, and then she takes a job in San Diego, and she literally has the moving truck packed, and then he's like, "Wait, instead, why don't you marry me?" Like a lunatic sociopath would to someone who's just trying to better their life. They've like barely been together at all. He just got out of being engaged. He was engaged to be married, and he broke up with a woman who punched him in the face. And I think this is maybe 72 hours later. He's proposing to Renee Zellweger. She's trying to move away. She takes him up on it. They get married. And again, what seems like the next day in movie time. There's no montages to establish any of this shit. And then he's busy with work. It's assumed that maybe they've been married for a week, maybe less. And he's busy with work. And Renee Zellweger is like, this, she wants a divorce, basically. She's like, let's take a breakup.
Yep.
And
yep.
and he accepts it. He's kind of like, okay, yeah. And so he goes and he continues
Is that
working.
what he did? Was that his line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I'm trying to remember what he said. Like, maybe some people aren't built that way. Something so dumb. So he's back to work, but something is missing. And so...
Where's my doormat?
Yeah, exactly. And then, so he comes back in the climactic scene of the love story. It's like her sister's like ladies yakking group, whatever the fuck they're doing. There's
it's
not
a
like
ladies'
a book
rights
club.
group.
Is that what
they
it is?
hang out. No, it's a divorced women's.
Oh, is that what it is? Like
yeah.
a support group?
You skimmed this bullshit.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
did.
promise I watched it. But how do you remember these details?
Because
Seriously.
I saw the movie a few times.
You love this
Crystal
movie.
loves this movie.
You love this
No,
movie.
I don't love this movie.
So he has this moment in there. They have their like emotional scene, but then he's like, "You complete me," which again, that's terrible, problematic nonsense. You shouldn't have somebody else who completes you. You should try to be a complete person, and then you can be two
Shel
complete people
Silverstein.
together.
Jesus Christ.
No, I think
Are you
that's
gonna
such
give us
like
the
a.
rundown of the entire missing
you're just-
piece? But
You're just setting up like this codependency is romantic. Like, you complete me. You're the other puzzle piece. Like, you're filling in all my gaps and holes. You redeem me from being a shitbag.
I'm into that.
And it's like, no, that's not romantic. Like, you work
filling
on
in
that
holes
shit
is
yourself.
certainly
It's the
That's-
definition
it's
of
all right.
romance.
All right. Right.
let me ask you: any redeeming qualities? Any redeeming performances?
I did think Renee Zellweger is very likable in it. She's like always,
She's good.
like charming and good. I was rooting for her character, and when she broke up with him, I was like, "You've made a good choice. Like, I hope you get that job in San Diego and do well for yourself."
Yeah, she should open a competing sports agency and
Yeah.
like bury him.
Yeah, in TJ. So it's a Mexican company that starts signing all kinds of
A
American.
lot of young
Baseball
boxers
players.
and stuff.
Yeah, boxers.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was about it. That was about it.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry you had a rough 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Adam, would you like to talk about the nearly full day that we had to spend watching a movie?
Oh, FNFU?
Yeah. So let me tell you how I watched it real quick.
Okay.
Wait, first of all, Ben, did you finish the challenge?
Okay,
Just
so
want to make sure.
I want to make sure. I
Yeah.
want you all to know I did not watch Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
It was too much.
But I will give Ben this. I came into this challenge having watched 2 of them already. I watched Fast 5 upon your recommendation, and then I watched Hobbs and Shaw the following day because I was so into the franchise. I was hooked, and I've become unhooked over the course of filling in the whole. So I've watched all 9, but I had to film head start.
If you listeners like ourselves have not ever seen this, The Fast and the Furious is the Avengers for people who exclusively shop at Ross. That's exactly what this is. Like, it's the worst movies.
That's amazing.
The first two
they show up for their kids.
The first two are laughably bad. Like they're
so 90. I didn't realize is that this has been going on since before 9/11. These have been on forever.
Yeah.
The 90s. The first one, they were like drinking Snapple bottles with the pop-up taps, and like they used the word faggot more liberally than I would have cared for.
Yeah.
Man, there were some very dated 90s things. In
Yeah.
there. The cars, the fucking
like,
cars.
Waist,
ugly 90s
a lot of
spoilers, big high
riding
spoilers.
jeans and belly shirts.
First of all, listen, I didn't realize street racing was this rampant across the globe.
It's basically a documentary.
Across the fucking globe.
And none of the car
Any
parties,
scene, any city.
the car parties
they're
I
out
go
there.
to,
They're
they
in
don't-
Rome.
They're and none of the car parties I go to are that big, that fun.
They're. I mean, the car parties I go to are cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that.
Our car parties are fine, but their car parties are like
Oh
at
my
11.
God, I gotta go.
Park your Hyundai and get out and sit on the hood. let that four banger cool down.
I like in the first one that they unironically the big thing they go to is race wars.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
no one stops back for a second and be like, should we think of a new name? Because
Yeah.
like this film's
Back
already.
then, that was just a wild idea. That
So I'm going to start with one positive that I noticed from movie one. And you can say whatever you want about all the Fast and the Furious
but
movies.
Vin
and I
Diesel
will.
is in it.
No, they did, before it was cool, they did have one of the most diverse casts that I've seen since day one. Like there were Asian people, there were black people, there were
that's true.
Latino people. They did represent everybody. It was a multi-ethnic cast, and I do applaud them. And this was before it was cool for Hollywood.
Right,
to
no,
say
you're
they were
absolutely
doing
right
that.
about that.
So
wait, okay,
Yeah,
we
they
need to be
can't-
more organized with this talk.
Okay.
Sorry, I cried.
I,
This is
I
a lot
took I
to
took
take.
notes.
Okay,
I took notes.
so let you guide us. Because
Well, and
Adam's taking out a moleskin notebook.
I sat with several friends. We had a discussion group. I just wrote down things that I enjoyed, and basically, I loved it in the very first one. How old it is that they're literally stealing TVs with VCR slots in them and
yeah.
DVD players. That's how old it is.
That was the ish back then, dude.
They
How convenient can you get?
they keep giving this like clock to Paul Walker. It's like, we know you've infiltrated the gang, but now you have 12 hours. And he's like, what? And then, like, there's no rhyme or reason to why the clock's been moved up. And they're always doing that. But like the threat that they're afraid of because they're robbing truckers delivering electronics. And they said it again and again and again, and it made me laugh so hard. It was trucker vigilante mayhem. They're like, if they don't capture the criminals, then the truckers will strike back. And I just love like that.
And that's the race war that's
the
really
movie.
going on.
Why is this not the movie? When the truckers decide we've been robbed enough, and they just fucking vigilante mayhem.
Not that they go, like that the truckers become these
scary
these big
like
bosses in a video game.
we can't unleash the truckers. They've robbed him like 8 times, and the 9th time the truckers are going to snap. So we got to arrest him first for the safety of the fucking world, lest we release trucker vigilante mayhem on society.
Oh man.
Okay, what else did I say?
Okay, so that was the gist of one.
Ja
like it
Rule,
too.
Ja Rule was so bad they one and done him.
Yeah, I
he
know.
was in number 1, and then he was out.
Because he's truthfully, I guarantee you, Luda came in and was like, "You could have me," and they were like, "Let's get this fucking this low rent DMX out of here."
Yeah,
you know what I
they
mean?
kicked Ja Rule to the curb so fucking hard. He went to a Bahamian island for years and recovered through the Fire Fest or tried to.
Yeah. Okay. Too
In the
fast.
second one,
Too fast. Too furious.
which I didn't know this, I have not seen. I thought I'd seen them all. I was sure. I thought Tokyo Drift was the second one.
No, second one is
And
Too
I don't know
Fast,
how
Too Furious.
I thought that when the second one is called Too Fast, Too Furious.
That's the one where he goes to Miami.
Right.
I saw the clip.
And Cole
Paul
Hauser
Walker.
plays a
bad-
Latin mob boss, like Irish punch-drunk Cole Hauser.
Well, with a name like Cole Hauser, it's
Latin
really
mob
pretty
plays
malleable.
Cuban.
Yeah.
So much. But you would have loved his
The scene-
wardrobe. So many draped linens.
Oh, yeah. You would have loved it.
Once,
Andrew.
once
Lynn
in
and
my
Jake.
life.
Andrew, one time when we had some event, for those who can't. And Andrew had to buy fancy clothes, and he came
No,
back.
that's not what
No,
happened.
he
You
just-
and I were living out of the Sportsman's Lodge
that's
motel
right.
in L.A.
Andrew and I
I
lived out
could
of-
not find a laundromat to save my life, and I had no clean clothes. So
So you went to
because I had television
Republic.
money, I went to Banana Republic, and in a
and you came
stunning
back
turn
as
of
if you had
events,
gone to a literal Banana Republic.
and in
I bought some linen clothes. It was hot and muggy in the Sportsman
and
Lodge.
you were
I was
like,
thinking
make
breezy.
me look like a catamaran insurance salesman.
Make me look like Cole Hauser as a Cuban.
Dude,
So
he-
I bought some linen clothes,
was-
and you guys have never let me forget
Yeah,
it.
we called
I'll
you
be-
Linen Jake.
I'll be 86 years old, and it'll be Lynn and Jake.
Hey, Linen Jake came today.
One-
When you deliver my eulogy, Lynn and Jake will slip in there.
one.
But I saw a scene in the trailer where apparently Paul Walker is driving. Is it Eva Mendes
Yeah.
down the road? And he's staring at her, and she's like, "Shouldn't you be watching the road?"
Right.
And then he just floors it up to like 140
And she
miles an hour,
gets so
staring
wet,
at
dude.
her,
Yep.
and she's
Into it.
understandably.
I came
And then he
so
stops
hard during
perfectly
that scene.
without looking. He just stops.
I came so hard during that scene. I came harder than I've ever.
We should let the listeners know that we've been texting each other about the amount we're coming watching.
Have
these
we
movies.
been doing it, or has
I
Adam been
started
doing
because I just thought it was really funny to be like, I just watched fucking them drag a safe through downtown Rio, and I just can't stop coming watching this.
And so that movie was good though.
No.
The one positive is it introduces Ludacris.
Luda becomes a member of the universe.
I mean, he is honestly one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
of
That explains
the
why
entire-
I didn't know why he was in their gang.
not into
Yeah.
Tyrese. I was into him for about a minute
he's
of
so
the first
annoying.
one.
And then
How's
in the
he the
subsequent
comic
movies,
relief?
All he does is like
Flipped out.
blunder and bungle. I'm like, why would they keep this dude around?
He's like, I'm not
terrible.
going to there. It's cold. And you're like, okay, Tyrese. He's always just like, he's not comic
He's
relief.
like Mr. T in the A-Team. They gotta like trick him to get on the plane.
Yeah, I guess, but it's just not as funny.
a dated
He's not as
reference.
funny.
he Cole House. It also that from the first to the second showed that the budget was going up.
Budget was
I
going
noticed
up.
that.
What I do appreciate about the early films, which is not much, but they keep it to the world of cars and car racing.
Yeah,
And the first few were
And then-
about street racing.
And so it's kind of fun when I'd argue 5, it goes bananas and they're like an international crime
They're like
syndicate
superheroes in
thwarter.
cars, yeah.
Right. And then it goes off the deep end. And in some ways I enjoy that, but it's so fucking ridiculous. I kind of like that in the first 4. It's like, these guys are good with cars. That's their skill. But then they have, now they're ninjas. They can do anything. They can fight anyone. They can take bullets.
and they
can-
have the gadgets. It's like, our cars can harpoon a plane and drag it to the ground. That's part of our skill set.
I took an important note at the beginning of Tokyo Drift.
This podcast is gonna be so long.
Who cares? We've got to get it out.
Anyway, so at the very beginning of that movie, it's Lucas whatever, not Paul Walker, and
Yep.
he's racing a bully, classic high school bully, and I was like, I know that kid, and I looked it up, and it's fucking Zachary Ty Bryan, the older brother from Home Improvement.
Yep.
This fades in
Fades
nicely
into
to an episode of Boy
Boy
Crazy. for
Crazy.
us.
Yeah, because I
Look
mean,
for the spinoff of this one, Boy Crazy.
With Zach Ty Bryan.
Yeah.
FNFU
Who had
edition.
to live in the shadow of ultimate #1 draft pick Boy Crazy JTT.
Yeah.
Zachary Ty Bryan came up in the shadow of JTT,
and now he's finding his glory.
Well, no, and I'd
Opposite
argue now
of-
relegated to Bush League Fast and Furious
Yeah.
film.
Well,
Opening
but here's
scene
the
of an
thing.
FNFU.
and then he's done. He's like a fucking. I don't think they gave him a name. He's just a high school bully.
Yeah. But Tokyo Drift, he was involved. Now, this was an interesting one. I wasn't sure I was a fan of it, but I do like Sun Kang. The
Is
guy.
that Han?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Han
great. He's
is
so likable.
I love Han. I
Yeah.
love Han, but their treatment of Han throughout the whole thing. Like people can die and then not die, and I love that they're just like they'll reveal it. Like Han will die, and that's it. You saw him die. And then later in another film, they're like, psych, there's additional footage.
Yeah.
And it isn't like maybe a clever thing happened that was dubious. They're just like, no, the big trick is we're showing you more footage. And I was like, that's not screenwriting. Like, I'm not fooled.
All right, let's move on. Fast and the Furious 4.
I do like in Tokyo Drift when the dude drifts up an on-ramp, like a circular
Yeah.
on-ramp.
Oh, that in the parking garage?
Yeah, when you could just, drive up the on-ramp.
way.
Why, dude?
Because it was a race, too.
No, but why?
I know.
When you can drift,
No
why
stop.
drive? when
Why
you-
ever
drive
go
when you can
straight
drift.
when you could drift?
Drink
should make-
drink Corona. Why drive when you can drift? Corona.
Don Draper. That's like some Draper.
I don't even remember what Fast
I got to
and Furious
drift. I
4 was
learned
about.
how to drift a car at
Fast?
Dirtfish Rally School.
Hold
and
on,
boy,
let's hear this.
You do it. It's fun.
How
You
did
would wanna
you've
do it.
drifted?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
you
the
went to that
Dirtfish Rally
rally.
School.
Well, I didn't even know that they would allow you to do that. It feels like you flip the car every time.
No, the car will slide sideways on its tires.
I drifted
It
on
does
black
feel
ice a
like
lot.
when you start, you're like, oh, this car is going to flip and I'm going to break my neck against the window.
Oh, but haven't you seen the Fast and the Furious? That doesn't happen if you flip 155 times. You will not hurt anything.
No. You get away. You walk away. You get the nuclear football.
Mm-hmm.
You give that back.
What was the one that they shot in Colorado? That was
7.
Yeah, that Colorado doubling his Azerbaijan.
We're going in order. Fast and the Furious.
This is when it gets confusing because then they're like, hey, let's drop all the numbers.
Right.
Even though
4
they did
is
with
just
Tokyo
called
Drift.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and the Furious,
Yeah.
but
they
this
just dropped
is,
the.
they go back to Los Angeles,
Right.
And Paul Walker is a cop again because Letty's been killed.
Right.
That's- and he wants to help Vin Diesel. Now
This is
if
when
you
it
don't-
starts to get
Now, if you
overblown. There's a
are-
lot of big explosions that gets. This one gets.
pedicab driver Ron, he
Our producer.
is so upset about how long we're going, but this will not
Yeah.
stop. So if you're listening, we live our lives 1/4 mile at a time.
And sometimes that quarter mile goes
It's 45 minutes of
45 to
podcast.
50 miles.
Anyway, Fast and the Furious 4. Quick rundown. Letty dies.
Yep.
But does she? Question mark.
Also,
They
this
sell
is
it like she
where-
does.
This is where the Han thing starts to get confusing because Han's alive, and you're like, wait a minute, this predates Tokyo Drift. They just don't tell you, but it does.
The cars.
all of the
They
next
have the
couple-
Back to the Future car, and they alter the timeline. You
Well,
can just assume that that's
For
happening.
several films after this, they start teasing Han being like, I'm thinking about Tokyo. Maybe I'll go to Tokyo. And it's like, yeah, you died in Tokyo 3 films ago. Anyway.
And but I do like the introduction in this movie of the guys Don and Tigo, like the two dudes from Mexico.
Those guys are great.
They're really
Those
fun.
guys
They're
are
better.
fun.
That's better
I would
comic
watch a
relief.
bumbling
Yeah.
buddy pick about them
Yeah.
over any of this shit.
And then the dude from Boardwalk Empire that plays Nucky's brother is the other cop.
Right, that's right.
And he just keeps getting his nose broken.
Paul Walker
Oh,
just
yeah.
fucks him up left and
Yeah.
right.
It's such like a weird running joke of like breaking someone's face. Like,
You need to shut up. You need to shut up. We're talking now.
I noticed
That was
that in
great.
Fast and Furious, what galled me about Fast and Furious
Was it Gal Gadot?
No rappers. Not one rapper. Luda's not in it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because in Tokyo Drift, little Bow Wow came into the mix.
Yeah, he
but as he's credited, Bow Wow.
Yeah, well,
Please
he was
be
big,
respectful.
He was Big Bow at that point. Big BB Dubs, Big Bow Wow,
Average Bow Wow.
adolescent Bow Wow.
Hey, Bow Wow.
Yeah, he was adolescent Bow Wow.
I like that he thought that it's mature sounding once I dropped little.
Bow Wow's, yeah, it's legit.
I will say that this was the one that was the most kind of forgettable for me.
I really have no notes about it at all.
Yeah, I didn't.
Some bad CGI for sure.
Yeah, they definitely spend more money, but it was like they're really trying to figure out
What is this?
Yeah,
What are we doing?
What are we trying to
Why are we
say
here?
here?
What is the long game on this?
This
What-
is when they realize what level of writing they could get away, and it's telenovela. It's like a character could die, but they don't die, but they've lost their memory. And it's just like, okay, cool.
But I will
Sitcom
say-
or a soap opera?
4 gives birth, and we were asked to rate our favorite. Gives birth to my favorite, which was Fast and the Furious 5.
I might
Rio.
be
fine.
with you on that one,
It's
and that's
the
why
best.
Andrew
It
told
is
me
the
to
best.
start at Fast 5.
Yeah,
Sense
I don't know
of
if I mentioned this. I saw
that.
Fast 5 opening night at the ArcLight Theater in Hollywood. The night we killed Osama bin Laden, the news spread while we were in line to
Dude, that's
go
the most
into
American
the movie theater,
fucking thing
and
you've
everyone
ever
started chanting USA. Not me, but a lot of people were chanting USA.
Oh, my
And
God.
then we all funneled in and watched Fast 5, and it really was like.
That's
This
incredible.
is about the as distilled American experience as you can
And
get.
3 bald eagles fed us Oscar Mayer hot dogs.
I'm
They
picturing Andrew.
regurgitated them into our little
into our
squid.
mouth, into our eager jingoistic maws.
And then Andrew just had a vision. He's like, I think Trump's going to win.
And everyone laughed at me and was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard."
5 was great. There was a
the
lot
action
of.
set pieces are great, and the addition of The Rock is a huge upgrade.
Disney Rock's
dude.
huge.
I made a
That's
noise
putting a
when The
V8
Rock,
engine into it.
when The Rock showed up.
V6 car.
I was cooking, watching, listening while I was making pancakes for the family, and
just a good dad.
yeah, and I hear his voice, and I ran in, and I was like,
And squeak.
"Is this The Rock?"
I ran
And when he
in,
comes
and
in,
I
he's
came
walking
all
like
over the
dick first through the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like he can't strut more in that opening scene.
You try not walking dick first when you've got an 11-inch honker.
Yeah, exactly. You lead with it. I love that they're racing across the rooftop of favelas like Vin Diesel and The Rock wouldn't crush through the roof of every. It's just like aluminum siding on the
Also,
top of the
using
house.
like a slum as an action set piece is kind of
Insensitive,
Yes.
Andrew? Is that what you were going to say?
No, but
Dismissive
like these
of-
are speed bumps for muscle men. It's like this is like this is a shanty town.
Yeah, for sure. But I thought it was cool looking. It's like on the side
No,
of the cliff.
it's amazing.
It
They
goes
did it in
down.
Bad Boys too. Also,
It's
hey,
anytime
don't get me
it's
wrong.
a
I love a favela.
A good favela rooftop chase sequence. I think we're all on
and
board.
by far one of the most creative car chases
With
in
the
that
safes
series
attached
with
to
the
back?
safe.
Oh,
That-
yeah,
this
it's
is-
out of a Looney Tunes cartoon.
And this is why it's perfect. This is why Fast Five is perfect because it's their car skills on display. They're like towing a safe. They're not fuck. I mean, that's ridiculous, but it's in the realm of like an amazing superhero car guy could do this. It's not dropping out of planes. It's in the realm of cars and this city grid
and it's a
racing
heist.
around.
Everybody loves a good heist movie.
It's- yeah,
and
heist.
they definitely cobble together a pretty plausible heist.
Well, and that's what they actually did. That's what they did well because there was a sequence like you didn't realize that that they got away with the money, that they swapped the safe out. But there was a sequence where you saw them like go by a big truck.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, and then they went later and showed in fact that truck they did the swap out
They did
there.
the other angle,
That's some
yeah.
clever like Ocean's 11 showing you that there was more at play there. They never did that level of heist of deftness filming again.
And they didn't even do it after, yeah.
Right, so they're just like they have the ability to sort of do a heist move well,
And it's
to tease it,
And it's one of my favorite dynamics is classic Vin Diesel and Paul Walker working together when they're towing that safe. My favorite part is when they're driving down the road.
Yep.
They
Ben says he hated these, but this is the most
this is
animated
when I
he's
got into
been
it.
on the entire podcast.
They split,
Yep.
jam on the brakes, fling that safe forward, and crush that cop car.
Yeah.
The sound that came out of my mouth, I went, "Oh
That's-
man!"
Really?
And that's what I'm talking about.
I did. I
Oh,
went,
man.
"Oh man!" And Milo started laughing.
You were wearing jeans, but when you said that, they just became jean shorts. Oh man!
All the
and my
threads
jean legs blew
just
off.
popped off.
Yeah.
Oh man!
How unrealistic is that fight between The Rock and Vin Diesel?
Oh, yeah,
that
The
they
Rock-
somehow position that like this is going to be an equal fight between these two
Well,
forces.
I actually made this note because it's kind of an adult version of Boy Crazy, but between 4 and 5, Vin Diesel had some success and definitely pudged right the fuck up. And he's no longer like cut D's. He's just this fucking Christmas ham walking
He's
down
got
the street.
post-workout chub, where it's like you've given up on the gym, but you went too much, and so then you just
Right.
have this like
Right.
tubular body.
Exactly. And The Rock comes in like, no, I do this, son.
And he
then
rips
beats him
off
in a
his
fight.
bulletproof vest with one arm. That's Velcro, dude. Good luck.
He's also started to attain superhero powers.
Vin Diesel.
So
Don Toretto.
Well, no. The Rock. I mean, he flat out throws human beings.
Yeah.
Like fully grown men being thrown into walls.
Oh,
Well, they're tapping into that wrestling audience. That's what people want.
We talked about that safe hitting that cop car. I wrote that note. They're always destroying cop cars.
Oh, yeah.
And that's I kind of respect that as a choice. They're like,
yeah.
they try not to go out of the way to kill innocent bystanders, but cops get killed all the time in this world, and it's kind of fun.
Six.
6 is
6 is okay.
it was fine.
I like that little car that the bad guy had to cause accidents and like do jumps and stuff, but that was kind of the only thing I liked about that one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like they had the Owen Shaw. It's not Jason Statham. It's his younger brother. He
yeah.
was badass, but I wasn't into 6.
And then the climax where they bring down the plane with the
that
harpoons.
Antonov or whatever, like that's the most powerful plane. It would have dragged those cars.
Those cars up. It would have looked like a just married cargo plane with these cars.
Yeah.
attached
I
to the
did
back of it.
appreciate that Gal Gadot's character dies here because we're like, finally, I missed her. She's great, but it's like, okay, there's stakes. People can actually die.
Yep.
Yeah.
because no one fucking dies.
And how
in these.
badass the way she
Isn't
died.
that the one where Han also dies at the end?
No.
It's like a
Han
post-credit
goes
scene.
back to Tokyo.
Right.
God damn
At the
it.
end of 6.
I'm
Maybe it was a
using up
post-credit scene in
ballads.
6. I feel like I saw that in 6 after the
I've
credits.
been just like had a moment of clarity where he's like,
I'm
look at how
using up
intensely I'm looking.
space in this. But so 6.
Yeah, I know that I did damage. I'm dumber for having
Yeah,
watched this.
I unread several books by doing this.
Last night I got a screener of Rocket Man. Katie and I watched Rocket Man, and I was like, "What
The
is
Harlan
this?"
Williams fart astronaut
No,
movie?
the Elton John
Oh,
biopic.
right.
And I was like, what are these artistic choices? Like I couldn't.
Where are the cars?
The thought.
When does Elton wait for slips?
when is Elton gonna hit the nos and get out of here?
Elton, these people are poison. Hit the nos.
Where's
There-
the rock?
This is also at 6 when gratuitous, unnecessary shifting really goes into.
There's shifts. Like they
There's-
slam on that break.
Well, and I'm like, what are you shifting? Why are you? This is, first of all, this is clearly they were shifting cop cars. Where is there a manual transmission police car? Like, what cop car would ever want to have a manual transmission that would like on chase? Oh, dude. And shifting manual transmission cars using the M1 shifter. Have you ever done that? All that happens, the engine gets louder. I'm convinced it's a joke. Yeah. Well, there's one movie is the scene where it's 6 where fucking Letty is flying through the air and Vin Diesel
Oh no! Yeah. And he drives his car, and for somehow they're not both turned into hamburger meat.
she's
Like,
standing on top
He turns
of a
himself
tank.
into a 300-pound projectile and launches himself.
Well, but then she later asked.
I wish they had treated that. I wish some physicist would sit down and show what would actually happen in
Dude,
that
there
scene.
should be an MIT class on the physics of that.
Yeah.
She asked him later, she's like, how did you know you were going to land on that car? And he's like, I didn't.
Sometimes you just got to leave some things to fate. That's what he says.
He
He
would have
hits
broken every bone
he
in their
hits the
body.
windshield of a car that's parked
I know.
with carrying a fully grown human being.
After they were both going 150 miles an hour?
Your
and then
asshole would
slamming
look
into
like
each
a
other?
sea cucumber. You would have shit your lower colon.
Then that would have been the best injury that you had. Jesus Christ.
So,
Yeah, that's done. It's like, what's happening now?
I lost it. Wait, I would have cracked up dying laughing if there was one moment of like just when they collide with each other in the air and they do the whole thing. But when she turns around, I can't even get it out. Half of her teeth are missing. And they're
inside his head. Yeah.
they're embedded in his forehead.
knowing Toretto, he would have just turned them into a necklace of a cross.
No, he would
would've
have
made them
just
into a
he would have
cross
just frowned and they would have popped out one by one. Boop, 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 boop,
and killing every enemy in the immediate vicinity.
By
I have a note at the end of Fast 6. There's this weird sequence where The Rock and Vin Diesel like whisper into each other's ears, like one's facing this way and one's facing the other way, and it looks so green screened. And I know that there was beef
There
on
were
the set
beefing, yeah.
between Rock and Vin Diesel. I think, and then there was another sequence in 7 where The
Or they
Rock's
were
in the
just afraid they were
hospital.
going to kiss. They're like, these two have almost kissed 17 times.
Remember
Keep
when
them apart.
Remember in 7, Rock gets his ass kicked by Jason Statham, or he would argue saved his partner's life diving out the window. That's what hurt him. But
That's 7?
anyway,
That's 7,
That's
right?
7.
That's 7,
And he's in
yes.
the hospital and he calls for Toretto.
Another improbable fight.
Toretto comes in. I'm telling you, every single shot of that is not a 2-shot. It's like Vin Diesel alone,
Guarantee
Rock
it.
alone.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel alone, Rock alone.
can't
They
have that
fucking
much
hate
beef
each
in
other.
one
Well,
place.
we knew this from those who can't. We're giving you a little insight. I wasn't on set with anything Andrew did.
Yeah, that was all
We could
CGI'd.
not. It was
they
an
brought in
EpiPen.
Andy Serkis to play me and CGI'd Faribault.
When you got two fighting cocks in the room, he's going to fight.
We got a couple couple alpha hens coming in.
Yeah.
Alpha hens. Watch out, eggs aplenty.
Eggs aplenty. On set, eggs aplenty on set. I'm just telling you.
That's what they called us.
said, yeah.
Our duo
Well,
name,
when
Eggs
you, once
Aplenty.
you coined alpha hens, then eggs aplenty.
The lighting guys would look at each other and be like, we got Faribault and Shoemaker on set today. Looks like we're going to make an omelet.
Here come the eggs.
You don't make television without cracking a few eggs.
Here come those fighting
Here
hens.
come those two alpha hens. There comes the brood mare.
They try to put us in the same room, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is he doing here?"
My favorite part in 7, though, if we're moving on to 7.
We can.
7 is my second favorite.
Yes,
it's got
it
some
is.
good stunts, like when the bus is going over the cliff
Dude,
and then he
catches
drifts the car and gets.
Do you
it's
remember
a fun stunt?
that scene came on, and I remembered when we hired the stunt guy. For those who can, he's like, I did the stunt, and
That's right.
and he showed us that video.
He did that.
was him.
Running-
He
he
was
ran
those
up
who
the
can't
bus.
stunt
That's right,
man
yeah.
who ran up the bus. Because I was like, I've seen this before. Where have I seen it? And we were in Thank You Brain's offices, and he just showed us on his phone.
And we're like, you're hired.
yeah, we're like, you did that stunt? You're
Yeah.
fucking hired.
Yeah.
That guy was in charge of like Fairbell falling out a 3-story window.
Yeah,
That's right.
He jumped out a window.
We were in good hands.
But that's not my favorite part. It's when The Rock has been injured and his arm is in a cast, and then he decides he's been injured long enough,
And he flexes.
out of his cast. He just breaks the cast. It's been like 2 days of movie time. He's like, I've healed, and he just like, and it's like, yes.
No way. My favorite is that supercar jump from one building to
In
the
Abu
other.
Dhabi.
Oh,
dude,
yeah, that
come
was pretty
on.
insane.
That was
Well,
insane.
I
That's
like
some
to
Hot Wheels shit.
I liked a moment before that where they're like breaking into the Sheik's party or whatever the fuck it was.
That's a big gratuitous swimsuit.
Yes.
scene.
Yeah.
It's like, what is happening
That
here?
was-
car parties, Andrew. That's what's happening.
It's like a
fucking idiot. Do
level
not go
11,
to car parties.
It's a
in
level
Dubai.
11 car party.
Yeah.
And Ben and I are hanging out at 5 and 6s, but that's an 11 car party.
Well, ours are more car shows with
yeah.
Nana and
yeah,
Grandpa.
yeah.
Totally
Ours are a little more.
Antiques Roadshow.
Before they fly that car out of the building, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel like break in to try to steal the God's Eye, or I don't even know what the fuck it is at that
Yeah.
point, out of the car. And Vin Diesel's like, all right, hurry up, and just picks the car up. And Paul Walker slides underneath to work on it. And like the whole time,
I forgot
he's
about
just
that.
like holding the car up. I was like,
how-
okay.
that's like
all right.
2,000 pounds.
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
nope, Diesel's got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Don Toretto.
Also, this was the introduction and the beginning of Ronda Rousey's storied
Holy
acting.
crap, Ronda Rousey. That's when I started realizing, like, what am I watching?
Yes, exactly.
They're really trying to force in a UFC fighter for like more, I don't know.
She
Well,
was
Gina
so
Carano.
bad.
Gina Carano's in
But
what,
Gina
5?
Carano can actually
Yeah.
act somewhat.
She's in
good.
a few things.
But like Ronda like doesn't even stand comfortably.
No. I didn't realize it was Ronda Rousey, and they're like, oh, she's the head of security. And I was like, well, that's a weird-looking person. Like, I didn't understand what was going on with that choice.
She's a weird looking.
It was like when we didn't know what to do with our arms.
Yeah.
It was just a poor actor.
Yeah, she's
bad
like-
actor on set. Bad actor
and
on
a
set.
lot of dead-eyed stares.
Yeah,
Like-
it was like something's up with that. This is also the movie where I realized, like, why do they keep giving The Rock glass offices? Like, every
You think
office
would
that he
be a-
works in.
You think that'd be a
is
one
sheer
and done?
glass.
Like, we're giving you the cinder block basement. We're giving you the corner
Right.
basement spot.
But no, the just very state
and
of
your
the
walls
art.
are actually just tint material
No,
that
no.
are
All
pretty
right.
cheap to replace.
But my arm's hurting and I need a cat. No, we're not doing that again either. We saw what happened.
After what you did with that cast, you do not seem receptive to professional medical advice.
Yep. Now here's your pristine, architecturally designed glass office building. Enjoy it and don't break this one.
People, you know what they say. People
felt
in,
bad for
in
the-
glass houses shouldn't throw rocks.
Yeah, right. I think it's more rock and glass house shouldn't throw foes.
Other people.
I don't know. This one I think is I enjoyed
felt-
it, but I'd been on such a sustained
on
burst.
7 or 8?
7.
Yeah.
That I was like, this is too fucking ridiculous. The flying cars.
Oh, the skydiving cars. I loved it.
Yeah. Once again, cannot suspend his disbelief for Jerry fucking Maguire.
Right.
But he's
No,
like,
I'm not suspending my disbelief. I believe Jerry Maguire. I didn't like it.
Also, when I first heard I got hose in different area codes, I thought, well, this guy's a computer genius. This guy can do literally anything on a computer. We're forgetting the most important part. Fucking end of 7, dudes. Paul Walker's real death.
Yeah.
And I cried. It made me so sad.
Yeah, when
The
he drives
ending,
away.
When they CGI'd him in the ending, and then it made me feel bad
Oh,
for
and it
your
was like
jokes
young.
about him.
now.
Yeah, it's pretty mean.
I was like,
I mean, it was a terrible, like, he's,
that was the only one Katie would watch because she wanted to see how they dealt with the Paul Walker death thing, and she was like bawling on the fucking
yeah,
couch.
it's really sad.
It's very sad.
And then 8, we should get through this.
8. When they find a device they like, or a villain they like, they go back to the well. The villain's got brothers. The villain's got sisters.
You name it, yeah.
So God's Eye.
Which is funny to me because I've always thought of that as a euphemism for the asshole.
Right. Well, much like the God's Eye hacking device, the asshole does see all. And there is no hiding from the asshole.
I mean, I've got a pretty nasty protruding hemorrhoid on my God's eye.
A sty. It's more
It's
of
a
a sty
sty.
on your God's eye.
A sty on your God's Eye. Oh,
This
my
is
Lord.
A hemorrhoid is
so
a
much.
sty on my
So
God's
much. I thought when I saw the trailers for Fast and Furious 8, I was so excited. I was like, this looks like the fucking shit. And then something about it just never clicked for me. I don't know. It even has my favorite car in it, the Rally Fighter, which
Which
they
one's
hardly
that?
even use. I think it's Letty's car. At the
Yeah.
end. They all
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
They all have pretty insane cars by the end. Like Ludacris is in like a tank, I think.
Well, my favorite part about this is the way that it's like a child wrote it. Every time Rock gets a car, it's a giant Tonka truck.
Yeah, it's like they insinuate it's the only thing it can fit in. Like,
Oh, like in 7 when
The
he drives
best-
the ambulance. You're like,
the best parts of these movies are
drives
when
the ambulance
or when
off
you
a
could
bridge
tell that it-
into a fucking grenade, like into a drone rocket. And it's fine. He's fine.
the best parts of Fast and Furious are when you could tell that this wasn't written. It wasn't in like an office on a laptop. It was like in a sandbox with Hot Wheels tracks, and it was like zoom, and like they put the car from like one building into another, and they're like, "Yes, that's what I'm talking about." It's the screenwriter watching his 5-year-old son play with Hot Wheels, and he's like, "Yes, keep going."
But here's the thing. They're all religious. They all believe in God. They say grace before meals, which is just an odd.
I mean, if you lived that through what they have, I'd be praying.
But I
Oh,
started
boy,
to
would
go
I be
down the
Christian.
rabbit hole when I was watching 8. I was like, well, this is bullshit, because what did they're Christians? What did Jesus do? God gave up his only son to save the world,
And yet Don Toretto's doing everything to get his son.
and putting the whole world in peril.
Another
They're not
soap
good
opera
Christians.
turn.
No, a lot of
Another
people
soap opera
don't-
turn.
A lot of people haven't thought about that.
Another soap opera turn. Surprise, Don has a son. Like 8,
I
I was,
feel bad for the Brazilian police officer
was
who
great.
he falls in love with, and then it's like,
she just got relegated.
my
She's alive.
alive, so
Dude, she's fucking alive.
Listen, I couldn't believe when I got to 8. Like, I gasped audibly when Charlize Theron walked onto screen. And Helen Mirren's in the film.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell, that's a horrible character.
they wasted him.
Yeah,
he could
but
have
like
been more fun.
it's right at this point in the challenge, I was thinking I'm an idiot for wasting my time, and then these like A-list caliber actors just strut onto scene.
You're like, I guess
And
we're
I was
all
like,
idiots.
the world's an idiot. If I could describe the filter that they used on Charlize Theron to introduce her into this world, it'd be Sublime cover band.
Oh, yeah.
Charlize Theron with
Doesn't she
white
have
dreads.
Yeah, she's got like white dreads and
Like they somehow declassed that woman.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
I just remember the part where they're trying to harpoon the great whale Toretto with like
Oh, yeah.
5-6 different cars. Can't be contained.
No, because it's got 5,000 horsepower.
Well, let's get to it. And then Hobbs and Shaw
Okay.
was fun. Hobbs and
I didn't
Shaw
like
was
that.
very
I thought
fun.
that one was. It just bored me. The only part I
like the
liked
Rock,
was
Jason
Idris
Statham
Elba's
relationship.
super bike that could drive itself, and that initial chase scene where they're going through, I think London, and he drives under the semi truck, and
I think The Rock and
That
Jason
was what I
Statham
liked.
talking shit about each other is very funny. And there's a sequence where they just let them talk shit about each other, and it makes me laugh very hard.
okay. So Hobbs and Shaw, I wasn't a huge fan. You liked it.
I liked it. Jason Statham and The Rock are both actors that I enjoy more than fucking Tyrese, more than Luda, more than Vin Diesel, more than any of those fuckers. So I was like, all right, here's the A-list guys of this world. Let's let them do it.
And Idris Elba,
bullshit.
who's always
and
a
Idris
treat.
Elba,
and
who's
then
the best.
Vanessa Kirby, I think her name is. She was great. I like
So
her.
I enjoyed it. I've looked it up. They're in pre-production on another one.
yeah, this is a huge franchise for
It's
them.
enormous.
Okay, so
So are we? I like I said, I started out hating it. Then I loved it. Then I hated it. Then I loved it. It's been a
What a
roller
ride.
coaster,
What a
dude.
ride for you.
I'm glad to have a break because I don't know if anyone's done this so sustained.
Yeah.
It really does some brain damage. Like I could have gone to a farm and hired a mule to kick me in the head, and I'd have come in with the same level of insight. But now with some time away, give me a month
Where's
or two.
this farm? Like,
Oh, you should do something with this back property.
This is
A lot of money in
the
that.
movie equivalent of that for us, like to relate it, of that comic that we're all like, he's a hack, but he crushes clubs.
Yeah.
Not because people are stupid for watching it, but because it is a terrific movie when you just want to turn off your brain and not think too hard about anything you've worked all week, and you just want to watch shit explode.
Yeah.
They're perfect for that because you're not like, how does that connect? You literally have to stop doing that or you'll get a fucking nosebleed.
Right. No, but give me 2-3 months. The next one that comes out, I will be delighted to go with you guys.
See it. We'll go see it.
It'll be so much fun.
Milo and I
wait.
are going to watch Hobbs and Shaw because I didn't get to it.
It's fun. Give yourself a week so you can cleanse your palate.
Yeah.
And then get right
You
into
think
it.
so? You think I shouldn't just keep the diarrhea in my mouth?
I just burned out, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I told him this is like trying to eat. You have like one of those giant tubs of cheese balls, and like you're like, they're so salty and good, but then your mouth starts to bleed and it gets cut up, and you're like, I'm not gonna shit right for a couple. But then when you stop for about 3 or 4 days, you crave those little fuckers again, don't you?
I hear you. So, in closing, are we better? Did we make the world better? I know the Dom Toretto and the gang have many times over.
I think the lesson with this challenge was that if there's a gap in your cultural canon, maybe it's there for a reason. Maybe you should trust your insight and trust your gut. And
you really
it's okay
did
to
not
have those
like Jerry
gaps.
Maguire that much. Huh?
I didn't like any part of it.
Okay, that's Andrew's takeaway. For me, it's meat and potatoes is delicious, but I can't eat it all the time. I need some vegetables,
right?
And I'll be right back for meat and potatoes.
Yeah, all right. Well, why don't we do this? I think we've come to a good spot, and why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick break? We're going to listen to another clip of some comedy from our live show that we're going to hammer this into your heads. It's the Grawlix.
And when we come back, we'll all get kicked in the head by the same mule.
So enjoy this. We'll be right back.
So I smoke weed while I drive, and at the beginning of last year, I was in a little bit of a fender bender. I don't think it was because I was high. It was my fault. Did not see a car, and I clipped it. That's why they're called accidents. But so I hit them, and they stop, and I realize immediately that there are 2 words on the back of that bumper on that car. And my first thought is that says Denver Police. But what it actually said was student driver. So I'm like, okay, gotta handle this now, great. And I get out of the car and the instructor leaps out of the car and he starts running over at me. He's like, hey man, you ran a stop sign. And it's like, okay, fair point. However, it's not my parents paying you to teach me how to drive right now. So I don't know what you expect from that. And the kid gets out of the car, and he looks like if he doesn't get straight A's, his parents are going to give him a Switch and not a Nintendo Switch. And so he's terrified and just scared shitless. And the instructor's like, yeah, it's time to learn a lesson. We're going to call the cops. And I was like, okay, cool. And they call the cops, and I've never been one for like the lady cop fetish. I've never understood it. But she gets out of the car and she's like, I heard there was an accident with a student driver. And they point at me and she goes, maybe you should be the one in classes. And I was like, all right, kind of hot. I'm kind of into that. And then she explains to them that if they want to file a report, they should do it online, because if not, they have to do it now. And that means A, I get a ticket, and B, she has to do the paperwork. And I'm like, fully fucking hard at this point. Like, hell yes. So I got off, right? They were calling the cops. I threw all my weed into a bush. Nothing happened. The moral of the story is that if you're scared about young, reckless teens on the highway and on the roads, just fucking hit them. Just hit them. They're never going to want to drive ever again.
All right, and we're back. And that was Steve Vanderploeg. That kid is so funny. He's a Denver local. He's been hard charger. That guy's a hard charger.
Hard
Hard charger. Fun to have him on the live show.
Plug.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, love you, ploogs.
Now, this is the part of the show where I would plug our live show, the Grawlix, which happens the last Saturday of every month at the Bug Theater, but we're in quarantine. It's not happening, so instead, what I will plug are the live podcasts that we're doing occasionally. We just did a killer one with our friend Kristen Rand, so keep your eyes peeled for the Grawlix Saves the World live podcasts and come and join us and Zoom with us and podcast. It's a lot of fun.
Also, we have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Grawlix Saves. If you already back us on there, thanks a zillion. If you want to check it out, there's all kinds of like bonus content, behind the scenes stuff. Especially for this episode, we went a little bit long. We blew through the quarter mile, maybe did a half.
There's so much good stuff on that Patreon.
So check that out if you get a chance.
Yeah, and if you can't support on Patreon, we understand times are lean. Hard to keep a nail in the floor, as they say in a folksy way.
Sure.
So if you can't, you know what you could do for us, and we certainly appreciate you listening and supporting. Just tell people about the podcast. Share it. Tell other people how much you love it and tell them to tune in. They can get this podcast wherever they get their podcasts. Have them like, share it, subscribe, rate, review it, do all of that jazz. You can also follow us at Grawlix Comedy. Tell us what you thought about the episode. Tell us your favorite episodes in the FNFU franchise. We love to hear from you.
Mike Henderson, thank you so much for your help recording the live comedy. We couldn't do it without you. And to pedicab driver Ron Doyle, hey, here's a gold coin for you.
Ron, your family.
I'd also like to thank Karen Wachtel, who does so much for the podcast, helps promote, helps record when Mike's not around. Thank you, Karen, for all that you do.
The real Wonder Woman, that's who she is. And as always, those sweet, sultry tones you hear at the top of the episode, those are provided to us by the loving Charlie Continental.
And make sure you come and join us for the next episode when we take these 3 hot boy Grawlix bods, get these shirts right off, and go in for some hot yoga, dudes.
Hot yoga, check it and see. I got a fever of 103.
Hot yoga, dudes. Good for
This-
the
and
mind,
just a quick
good for the
asterisk.
bod.
We recorded this before quarantine. We won't be going
Don't
into
lie to them. Don't lie to them. We did this in the middle of quarantine.
We broke quar. We broke quar.
We
to
broke
go
core
in.
to flop our sweat all around the city. No, it's pre-quarantine. Dig in. It's a lot of fun.
It's going to be a ton of fun. And as always, I know you guys hate it when I say this.
I just hate that you enjoy it.
Right. I hate the joy that you get out of
Just
it.
shut up. Play us out, Charlie.